Good evening, everybody. It's Shelley Johns here from Gympie. I'm a Herbalife member. I've been with the company 28 years. I've lost over 20 kilos in 3 dress sizes. I love helping people with products, and especially in our community, and making an impact. And tonight's call is all about the art of recruiting, which is our duplication and helping us to work smarter. So we're actually going to kick off the call. How do I do that? With some good news. So this is the art of recruiting, the power of duplication. Oh, I haven't got a good news slide. That's okay. We'll just start from here. So we're going to share, there was actually an event on Saturday in Brisbane called our STS training, and they happen all around Australia and overseas. So I'd love some people to share what they got out of the STS on Saturday. And I must say that Jennifer did an amazing job of sharing her story at our opportunity meeting, just the way that you shared. You were fantastic. And did you hear the applause that she got? Everyone loved it.
Absolutely.
So that was so great to hear you share. And it's almost like you're just getting better and better, at speaking up the front, which I love seeing. So did you want to share, Jennifer, because you've just been to so many events, you just got back from New Zealand from the leadership training, anything that you'd like to share from Saturday?
Yes, and I have to say I actually missed a lot of it because I was in and out having to go and meet some people. So I was in and out during the day. So I actually missed a lot of that event. But it's always great seeing anybody that's coming up in the business, because it gives us more motivation all the time. You want to hear from people when you're having a down day. You want to hear from everybody else that's got something going on in their business. And I just get a feeling all the time that, we're on that wave. There's so many people starting to do really well. They're telling you how they're sharing their business in different ways. And, so it was good. But as I said, I have to say I missed a lot of it because I had other commitments and I was in and out all day. So possibly somebody else is going to feel better.
Oh, good. Well, it's great that you come and you're obviously multitasking, helping with the leadership and behind the scenes, and planning out what's happening. So we appreciate that you're part of that SNP and that committee, because you help obviously make them possible. So we certainly appreciate it.
Well, Shelley, I opened my notebook and I took copious notes. It was an amazing training, very clear, very precise, very concise. And we were talking previously, and what I opened, and I just opened the book, and up comes, keep a gauge of your numbers. And I thought it was very appropriate. And also, I really felt that what she was explaining about building your business, that the events tie everything together. There's always a next step for everyone. And then she was asking, how do you invite? Converse, connect, and close. And that probably is the key to building any business, to recruiting. And she said, find something out about people, and that's the converse. So just find out what it is that will press their button or give them inspiration. And then you connect with them, and face to face if possible. That's always the best thing. And look at where you're all going so that you can connect together and find out 3 things people need or want the most. So maybe for her it was having time, not financial time, not finance. And I think that was probably one of the things. And the other thing that I was so grateful she said was recruit your weakness. And I thought, oh, wow, if you're shy, you can recruit somebody who's outgoing, or somebody who doesn't have much time can recruit somebody who's a lot of time. And I think we sometimes forget that. So they were some things, I don't want to hog the whole evening, but they were things that were very, very beneficial to hear again, and for the new people to learn. So maybe somebody else has something else.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Irene. Rosemary, what did you get out of the STS on Saturday?
I always get something, or lots of things, but for me, always the stories. I'm just blown away by the stories that we hear that go across the room. And that's what got me into Herbalife, was that very first training. Some nearly 26 years ago. I still recall those stories. You know, I can see the people going across the room, and I just went, wow, why have I not heard about this before this? So for me, it's always the stories. But Murray, I think what I got from her as well is she's such a passionate lady, but a very, very busy lady. So, and I have learned over the years in my, with whatever I've ever done, always seek out the busy people, because no matter how busy they are, you know, if you can show them something that you have discovered and you're honest about it and sincere, they pick up on that. So for me, she was very sincere, beautiful lady, and yeah, I mean, I'm just so glad I was there. And I did meet yourself and Ross, which I hadn't met before, early on here. So yeah, no, it was great.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you, Rosemary. It was lovely to see you. Coral, I know that you got up and shared your story as well as Rosemary. That was wonderful. So what did you get out of Saturday?
Definitely listen to people in what they want, whether, like I put it in play today. A lady rang up and it was for business opportunity. Well, I actually rang her back from a week or so ago, and she's a baker that owns a bakery and time poor. So I kept flying, putting time poor into the conversation, and so and some freedom. So I got that out of it, and definitely the stories, as well as exactly what Irene said, recruit my weaknesses, and I'm putting it out there who I want at the moment.
That's excellent. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much for sharing. We've got Jan.
Yep. Law of attraction, Coral, always. Exactly what Irene covered. She covered some very, very important points. But I think she was very, very strong about finding out from people what they really wanted, because I think that is very important. Quite often in the very beginning, a lot of people don't know because they don't know what is available. But I think she made sure that people were sort of exposed to what could be achieved in Herbalife. I got that from that. And because when you know what a person wants, she asked permission, more or less, to be able to sort of keep on their tail if they weren't doing the right thing to achieve their goals. Because people sometimes give lip service but aren't really serious about what they want. They give the lip service to that. But so she finds that out if they're really, really serious, and then obviously it gives her that permission to be able to follow up with strength and commitment to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing to achieve their goals.
Yeah, definitely. That's that. Realistic expectations and accountability really help, don't they?
Yep, absolutely.
And I want, if anyone that's new that's going to be listening to this recording, I just want you to pay attention that here we've got Jan, Rosemary, Irene and Jennifer, all have been in the company for well over 25 years and they're still going to training. So remember, success leaves clues. So I want you to think about that you continuously plug into that support system, because that's what it's there for, to help you to move forward and to stay on track and to remind you of the things that are important and that are going to make a difference. So thank you for sharing, Jan.
Pleasure.
Lindy, I know that you had one of your carers who you managed to get on the products, because obviously these are people that you spend a lot of time with and they're watching you, so we get to sample the products, right? All that happens. So one of them's just upgraded?
Absolutely. He did the 500 volume points and he bought a whole lot of tea and protein bars. Because, when they're out with the boys, as much as I say, take a shake and take it with you, depending what activity they're doing, they might be out somewhere where it can't be kept cold or whatever. So they always keep the little container with tea, so they can always ask for hot water and put in what they want. And the protein bar they can always have on the go. So that just ties them over until they get back in the afternoon. And it was really funny. He sent me a picture. It was like an open cupboard. It had so many bottles of tea and so many packets of protein bars. I had a real giggle. It was great. So Yeah.
Well, it works, sampling works, and having, having those things where they can take it with them, they're using the products obviously as well.
Well, it was funny because when they first joined, and because, I've got Herbalife paraphernalia and empty bottles and stands with everything everywhere. So it's truly a Herbalife house. And so when they came in and went, I think they were expecting a push, and I said, oh, that's just what I do. And I let it, didn't really say much more from that. But then because even with all the boys and Jade and activities, I was still running around. How do you keep staying so alert? And that's how it all started.
That's excellent. So there again, there's the people that are carers need the products, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just looking to make sure I haven't forgotten anybody. Cool. So what did you get out of Saturday, Rob?
Put me on the spot, why don't you? Basically, what I got out of Mary was virtually the fact that just keep it super simple. And that's really what she implied. Just keep it simple. Everybody overcomplicates this business, and it is not complicated. It's, and then working out, obviously, where do you see your people and understanding what your people want, and stop pushing them into areas if they're not ready to go, but be continuously listening for when they are ready to move into the next factor and move into the next phase. But what she kept implying was the fact that why watch will happen all the time. We overcomplicate it. And we just got to keep it as simple as we possibly can. Now, I take this back to very simply what I used to work when I was a supermarket manager. Everybody complicated to death. And at the end of the day, it was, you got a tin of baked beans off the back dock, off the truck, you put it on a shelf, customer picked it up and put it through a checkout. That's all there was. There was nothing else we did. That's what we did. We complicated everything in between that, and we did exactly the same in Herbalife from time to time. We really do. So.
Shelley, Jennifer here.
Yeah.
Hi, Shelley. Just my phone was tinging just at the same time. I picked it up to see who it was. It happened to be Mary Najovska sending the photos from Saturday. So for anyone that wants to see, Mary, if you didn't get to come and see, she was a medical scientist, and so found out about the business through someone she went to yoga, I think, with, and it is interesting. You just have to be out and about and make relationships with people, and then see what comes. Because as she said, she looked at the other person, the person that recruited her, and thought, hey, she looks better and she's got a better car than I've got. So you don't know who's looking at you, and actually something that when Rosemary first brought it up about, recruiting your weakness, when you think about any meeting, STS or extravaganza or anything you go to, and you look at all the people that are up there with different parts of the event, from the people who actually do the administration, the organisation, the people that select the speakers, and then different speakers talk about different subjects. Often we look at and think, that subject, I don't want to do the recruiting bit, or I don't want to do this bit. I don't feel comfortable up there about talking to people. So when you're recruiting people, you're always going to get people in your group who are the opposite to you, the people who are happy, that want the limelight. You might do a great job, but you don't really want the limelight, so you'll get people who actually, as Mary said, that she had a husband of one of the ladies who absolutely loved the recognition. So he was on the stage as soon as you could say Jack Robinson. So that's the great thing when you think about all the reasons, not only for people making money, but when you build your team, you get the fit club instructor, you get your yoga teacher, you get someone that can do, some, jazz dancing or something. You get the kids that are doing teenage hop or something, or rap dancing. So you can get any of those to come and do a class for you, sling them $1 a customer or something, and therefore you've got people, who can actually work for you, be part of the group, and know how to use those people and the family situation for everybody to be able to build their businesses. So all the reasons that we want more people, because when you have a meeting, the more people you have, the more likely people who want to join because of the amount of people they see. So it just works in so many amazing, beautiful ways to have a team, a huge family, you all work together and you all build together.
Absolutely. Yep. I totally agree with that. And yeah, it was a fantastic event to go to. Mary was very, precise on and clear and strong. And yeah, I picked up a few things. I think the main thing that I picked up was my reason and why of what I do, and it's in alignment with my values and goals, and the reason about the events and going to some of these trainings that obviously on Saturday we took the girls, and then their uncle picked them up in the morning, so it was nice for them to come to the venue and see. And I know that that's the second time they've been there, because I want them to know what we do and why we're doing it. So we've booked the accommodation for Sydney at the Novotel at Manly. So Mum's going to fly from Mildura to Sydney and take the girls for the weekend and take them sightseeing in Sydney while we train. So I feel for me that's really motivating, that I want to do more things like that. It makes me want to get out and do more because I can incorporate the girls into what we're doing. So that was something I really picked up from Mary. We got one of our ladies, Linda Rigby, who's just lovely. She's a bit of a quiet achiever. One of the mums from the school, she approached me and she came into the centre and got started, I think, on a trial pack, and then upgraded to a couple of products, and then got more serious and got on a program. And then her boss saw her results, so her boss got on the product. So she's just done her senior consultant this month, which is great. Just waiting for that confirmation to come through tomorrow. And then we went out doing flyers after Fit Club on Monday a couple of weeks ago. So we've just been picking different areas. Gympie is quite hilly and quite spread out, very rural. So we did a couple hours of flyers or whatever it was. And as we're coming back, and I hadn't done any no junk mail, which I find really hard not to do. And I'm like, I'm going to do this one. And so this house. And then we finished up and went home. And then this lady, Desley, calls me and books in, and she comes in and gets started on an ultimate program for her and her son, an ultimate plus an extra shake. So she's doing well. She's lost 2 kilos in 5 days. And I had to go and drop something off to her house, and I noticed that on her letterbox was the no junk mail. Because Ross was going, well, I'm not doing no junk mail. I go, well, I'm prepared. I know we'll have a bit of a talk about it before we started recording. So I'm prepared to take any flack from someone calling me, because I don't think it's junk mail, but I just thought it was quite ironic.
Yeah, out of every flyer we did that day, that's the one we got the phone call on.
What's interesting about that, Shelley, is that probably the person who's got no junk mail, they actually get a flyer, so they actually read it, and then they think, well, I want to do this, obviously. Whereas the people who get lots of junk mail,
I know. I actually thought that, Jennifer. I thought exactly that. They probably don't get many things else. So, she's really lovely, and she's going to come to the skin party thing and maybe to the healthy aging workshop as well on Saturday. So, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to Ross for, we've just done our second lot of 5,000 volume points. So we're obviously trying to go for the VIP for Hong Kong. So we've done 5,111.
Congratulations.
Ross is right on the ball with all that, and so it's still got an extra day, so who knows what could happen.
I told you that before.
That's right. So I just wanted to say thank you, Ross, for that.
So the other thing on that with your volume points, just be aware how close it can be at times. If we saw the top 10 that was on the screen on the weekend, and Janelle, I'm aware of what Janelle's volume points were, and I knew we were probably 3 or 4 below that. There was 10 points in that. There's 10 volume points. That's how close everybody is operating at a certain level, and you just don't always realise that. You maybe think you're so far off the game, but you're not. And somebody's only just, you're doing exactly the same work as everybody else. So never give up and never stop going.
Yeah, perfect.
So what awesome good news. Did anyone have any other non-recruiting good news to share? Josh does. Ben?
Josh does.
So let's get on with our training then. So obviously this is a real favourite, and I used to shy away from recruiting when I first got started, but Merv was obviously a really big recruiter. And what did he do when I first got started? He got me on the phone in his office, and he had ads running, and there'd be a script, and we would sit, Peter who joined me at the time, we'd sit and we'd answer the phone and then book people into the business opportunity meetings, which were running quite regularly throughout the week. There was a lot to book people into, daytime ones, evening ones, weekend ones. So there was a constant amount of opportunity meetings. And look, you know, depending on how your situation is, can you do them on a Zoom call like this? Absolutely. Could you do it one-on-one in a coffee shop? Could you do it in an office? Or you could go to someone's house. There's lots of different ways of doing it. So get really excited about recruiting, because retail gives you one area of income, recruiting gives you all the rest. So you want to open up that marketing plan and really start working smarter. So let's go on with the training. I'll get you to do the slides if that's okay. So we only have so many hours in a day, so we can only help so many clients ourselves. So most people are happy with about 20 clients, let's say. So you want to leverage your time. So helping 200 clients yourself, could you imagine how much time that would take if you're doing it properly? Or would you like to have 20 clients yourself and 10 team members helping their own 20 clients? You know, that's actually working a lot smarter and opening up the other areas of income too. So you want to duplicate yourself and you want to work smarter and open up all those other areas, wholesale, royalties and bonuses, and develop that royalty income. So, next slide. Thank you. Cool. So the art of recruiting is how to generate. So basically generating leads and people to talk to. And we're always taught it was none, some, or lots. Talk to none, well, you know the answer to that. Talk to some, you'll get some results. And talk to lots, and you're going to get lots of results. So it's pretty simple. And you want to choose a number that you can talk to every single day. And consistency is definitely the thing, isn't it? So
it is probably the hardest thing to keep yourself going and making yourself do that. Yep.
So, you know, you might choose 3 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day, 20 a day, or like Gary was doing 30 a day. And going out and walking, talking for this event, to give you a bit of an appreciation for imagine Gary going out every single day, and he had to, you know, he couldn't go to bed until he talked to those people. And we've all heard the story, haven't we, Jennifer, where he had 2 more people, and it was like whatever it was. Did you want to tell the story?
Well, when Gary was in Perth, he took 10 days off from work, where he worked at the Motorvale Golf Club, and he went with the guy who sponsored us in the business to Western Australia. And so Gary thought, he's smart. He thought, I'm going to go with this guy who knows what he's doing. He's got this big check. So they started putting ads in straight away, and they had a plan. And Gary would be very, very good at sticking to the plan. He had 10 days and he was going to make the most of it. So they started putting ads in, flyers and everything. So he had a goal to talk to so many people a day. You know, sometimes it was 30, other times it was 10 in different places. I have to admit, sometimes I've forgotten over the time, but it was a goal at the time. And he talked about how, you know, he hadn't reached his goal, and I know him so well. It could be the last minute of the last day, and he would never ever say, you know, he can't make it. He would be talking to somebody on the phone, you know, to encourage them to do it. And so in this case, he heard the rattling, you know, of a car coming down the street, and it was the garbage truck in Perth. And so he decided, well, you know, I do my numbers. So he went out and pitched the guys, and they basically said, nick off, you know. But he said, well, I did my job. I didn't just say, oh, well, it's too late and it doesn't matter or whatever, you know. And how many times we all miss opportunities, you know, for all the silliest reasons, which I did this week, you know, trying to pitch a guy in a Uber, and then sort of knowing I only had a short ride and trying to find cards in my bag, and right at that last minute corporate rings me up, and I'm thinking, oh man, he told me he's from the Cook Islands, and you know, and they have New Zealand money over there, you know, and you know, and I had all this thing, and then I didn't get to pitch him the way I wanted to. And so, you know, you've got to be prepared, and you've got to be planned, and you've got to have a plan that wherever you go, you're talking to the next person.
Yeah. That's excellent. Thank you. It's such a great story. So that consistency, it's something we all have to work on. And generally human nature is you can be consistent for a while and all fired up, and then all of a sudden something happens and you sort of go off the track, and you've just got to pull yourself back on again. So having this mastermind group, going to trainings, having some gauges and tracking, that keeps you on track, and a constant reminder of why you're doing what you're doing. So if you do go off track, that you know that, oh, right, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, let's start fresh again and keep going. And that's really the key, is to start fresh, get going again, and do it over and over again until that 90-day plan is completed. Yep. So how to generate, so talking to people, and the next one is the menu. So of course, just like the retail, the recruiting menus basically has a whole bunch of things that you can choose from, and there's more than this that's on here. But again, like going to a restaurant, you're not going to choose everything off the menu. You're going to choose what suits you. But again, try and choose what you know that works, things that you can afford. And as you build up your income, you might be able to put more into other things that cost money. And yeah, do things that you know are proven to work. So branding yourself and taking the products, obviously, which I know Mary was really big on, especially wherever you go. If you're going to a sporting thing or to the school or anywhere there's a group of people, make sure you're taking your products, obviously, because people are going to ask. Be branded, but not over the top. You know, like you don't have everything with Herbalife, but maybe a button or a top or a bottle or something like that. Definitely having something on your car if you're able to. Having some flyers on you. You can get some beautiful flyers from Herbalife, like nice professional ones that are all coloured and everything, and you can just put your details on there. But you can also print your own. Always asking, who do you know? Who do you know that would like to lose weight? Who do you know that would like to find out about healthy aging? Who do you know that plays sport? Who do you know that's from Taiwan? You know, because I know Jennifer's going, so I've been really thinking about that. How do we get some people in Taiwan? Because Jennifer's going, so what a great opportunity. So who do you know? Who do you know? Social media, again, just go by the guidelines, and you want to kind of be fairly, you know, cool about it too, so that you've got life and other things, not just all Herbalife. Walking and talking is probably our favourite thing. I like, and obviously there's a lot of you that just like that face-to-face, because you can look them in the eye. As Irene always says, you can tell when someone's interested, can't you, Irene? What was your tip on that when you're talking to someone?
Just when you're talking to people and you're telling them about, about asking them questions, and you start to tell them about the company or the products, you just notice that they sort of get this glazed look, and they're just no longer there. And that's the point when you don't continue, and you just at least give them something and say to them, you might know somebody, perhaps you know somebody who would be interested, because going on about it just doesn't help them, and really doesn't help the company image either.
That's cool. It's a very good tip. Obviously, clients make a great team members, because how many people were clients first?
I was.
Yeah.
Dan was.
Yep.
Yeah, Lindy was.
Just wait, let me click through and have a look at the rest. So, Rosemary, were you a client first?
No, I was taken to a meeting with a friend, and I saw the picture straight away.
Cool.
And signed up straight away.
Okay, cool. Coral?
Yeah, I wanted the business
That's okay.
straight away.
Cool. Well, we're going to share a little bit more on that in a second too. So that's cool. So obviously, you were a customer first. Technically, you were.
Technically, yes.
So, and I came to you in the business. So obviously, customers make great team members because they love the products and they believe in the products. So putting posters up, pull tab surveys, referrals, car signs, whatever it is. I like the work from home advertising. That really appeals to me, but there's lots of other things, and there's probably things that haven't even been invented yet that work really well, but go with some things that are proven, and try and choose 4 methods so you've got that stable table. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So for example, if you're only doing flyers and it rained all week and you weren't able to get out and do anything, how could your business grow if you're not doing other things? So again, that consistency is really important. So, okay, this is great. We're up to this one anyway. So I want everyone to share how they came into the business, how you found out about the business, and how you got your last 1 to 3 team members. So Jennifer, did you want to start?
Well, we came into the business because we were looking for something to do. As I've said to people, I was 39, Gary was 35. We'd been together a few years. And we talked a lot about trying to find something to do, but not really knowing what was that something, never having had a business, never having done anything, not having a particular channel like an educational background. So where do you start? So we did what everyone did in those days. You looked in the newspaper and Gary saw an ad, and it turned out to be an American guy who came to Australia who was doing really well and had checks like, I think, around about 70,000 a month at the time, which was like unbelievable. And so then Gary brought the products home to me, and so we said, that's it, well, we'll get going. I think mainly because health and nutrition sounded interesting, it sounded ethical, it sounded like a good thing to do, so we didn't have any kind of bad reservations about it at all. The only reservation was the idea of getting started like we all have. But the good part about it, I think, will work so well for us is that we were in the area where, as Shelley said, you know, we went into an office with a guy who'd had a background, so he did exactly the same. He told us to get a little card table. We sat in the corner of the office, and he put on the phone, and we put on the phone. And he gave us a script to read, and we put ads in the newspaper. I mean, we didn't have the money to throw around or whatever, but I guess we were excited and prepared to do it. It wasn't an obstacle. It's very interesting how things are obstacles to you. And then one day something comes along and suddenly that obstacle you would have put in front of you before is not an obstacle because we were so excited about it. And just, I love the idea of the script. You know, people don't seem to do them as much now, but that's how we all grew our businesses. And doing that script, you know, people answering the phone, you know, calling on the phone, and we just went through the same scripts all the time. We didn't specifically do it about recruiting or about products. We always put our ads like international company, health and nutrition, products that, can gain weight, lose weight, etc. Also looking for distributors. So when people rang, we basically talked about both things. And we didn't split them up in any way. They'd say what's about, we went through the script, we'd ask them about them. And so, we basically go into the idea of what the product's about, therefore we want distributors. And then people would then say, well, look, I think I'll just try the products, or yes, I'd like to come and look at the business. And so that's how it went so well. That seemed to be the thing that works so well for us in those days. And even today, my mind tends to go back to, that's the way to do the business for me, because I would feel familiar with that. Of course, we've got all the new legs of the chairs that we never had before, from the fit clubs and nutrition clubs and, parties and all kinds of things. Last 1 to 3 team members, probably, I can't say a lot about those. My last 1 to 3 team members, didn't do anything at all. Now that's the same for everybody. You're going to get people in who don't do anything, and you're all excited about them. But I'd rather, in our case, talk about our 1 to 3 first team members we got, because we had some very interesting stories in our first 1 to 3 team members, considering we were brand new people. So I guess it's a relevant story whether you talk about them now or before. When we first started, and Gary always tells the story about when Jim Lediker, he was the first guy who actually did something really great in our business. He was a linesman and a bit sophisticated in his own way, but ordinary job in terms of sophistication, an ordinary job. But he brought in a friend who was a naturopath, and he kept asking Gary questions that Gary had no idea how to answer. So he would just go back and say to Bill Keat, look, the guy's asking this question, what will I say? And Bill would tell him the usual thing, that we're told in our button response, how many countries, how many results, and show them befores and afters. Finally, Jim Lediker did sign up, and Jim Lediker wanted to travel overseas, and Jim had it in him where when we opened in France, he decided to study French. He actually went this is a key note, he went to France, he hired a secretary. He hired someone who could speak French, got her to put the ads in the paper, translate for him, and he built a big business in France. And then through him, we end up getting Merv Chesson, which is Shelley's, Shelley's upline. And Merv was an ordinary guy, had gone bankrupt, was having domestic problems because of that situation. He'd gone to Perth. I think his wife was still in South Australia. I'm not real sure of the story. And she tells the story how she was horrified when he came back with the kit, saying, I've joined this company when they had so much problem. However, there's Merv, you know, ex-racing car, electrical mechanic sort of driver, you know, gone bankrupt, and he buys a box, you know, which is what our product came in those days, and he does the business. So whether it's now or whether it's back then, we all started feeling insecure, wondering how it was going to go, but doing the job that we were told to do, and we end up getting members that stayed and got going, and then Shelley's a following story on from Merv, etc. And through that, we got so many other people that I won't take up the time on this call. So really, last lot of people, we've had the people that we signed up and did nothing. You know, we've had the people that do something and been around forever. Jan McMahon came along the way, who just was a customer but had such great results. She ended up being a distributor. And, you know, so these are the amazing glory stories you'll have in the end. You just have to start.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. That's awesome. So I love that you shared that. And so, yes, leading on to Jen, which is exactly what we're going to do. So, Jen, so you start off as a client, obviously very shy. How did you end up doing the business? How did that all come about?
How that came about was because of my result on the product. I had fabulous results, and it really gave me an emotional attachment to the product. I had no real intentions of doing the business at all because, like you said, I was very shy, wouldn't talk to people, little only talk on a telephone. I had a phobia about a phone. But because of my result, I knew other people needed the products, and I'd only wished that I'd had the product before my mum passed away, because it really would have helped her amazingly with her health and weight and all that sort of thing. And it did inspire me in that respect. And I was fed up being at the supermarkets. I've been at the supermarket about 5 years and had those 2 falls down the stairs. So I knew I had to eventually leave. But Jennifer and Gary had sort of been following me up on the products. Initially, I was using it wrong, so I did get into trouble for that. But they did inform me, this was before I became a distributor, that Mark Hughes was coming to Australia. He was in Sydney. He was going to the Menzies Hotel. And even though I wasn't a distributor, I decided to go and have a look, because I had such amazing results on the products. I thought, oh, gee, I'd like to see this young man that had helped me. So I went along, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing. Obviously, it wasn't a huge amount of people, but it was, you know, quite a full room. And even though it was early days then, there was still some incredible results on the products. And that really inspired me. But Mark Hughes himself did. You could really even see from the stage how sincere he was and what he wanted for the future. So that was my beginning of being inspired. So it was a bit later on that Jennifer and Gary sort of encouraged me to, instead of passing on the referrals, which I was doing, to them, you know, Gary sort of said, you know, if we teach you how to sort of follow up the people, you can keep the profit, and that will help pay for your own products. So eventually, long story short, I did do that. And that's how really I got started in the business, very, very part-time, around working full-time at the supermarket. And it was really exciting. And it took Jennifer, I'd say, about 5, if not 6 phone calls to get me to go into the office. So there again, never give up on people, because I thought, no, I'm not going into the office, because they had an office in Willoughby. But eventually I did go in, because they knew I had a good story and great results on the product. And of course, in those days, you wanted everybody who had a result on the product to, you know, be there to be able to share that. So eventually I went in, and that really also started looking at sort of doing some business part-time.
That's excellent. So I want you to sort of think about this, what Jan just said. So she had no intentions of doing the business. She was shy, and she was using the products wrong to start with. And here she is, millionaire team member, still in the business 30 years later. So, and I'm sure it was right out of your comfort zone to go to some of those meetings, right?
Pardon?
It was right out of your comfort zone going to some of those meetings?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was too shy. But I forced myself to go, particularly that first time to see Mark Hughes. And that was just a turning point, absolutely. And, of course, the next big turning point was attending my first ever extravaganza in the United States. That really opened a big door. And that's when I really started doing the business seriously.
Excellent.
And that actually caused a domestic in our household, because I remember having a fight with Gary and saying, Gary, you're pushing Jan and she doesn't want to go. She doesn't feel comfortable about travelling overseas. And Gary said she has to go. Well, Jan goes, and then she says it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. I did have a domestic over that.
I think you need that in a team, like a couple situation, though, don't you, Jennifer? That one that likes to push, and the other one that's a bit softer, that's more caring, and you need both of that sometimes. And sometimes you've got to be that both in that one person as well. But yes, I don't think it hurts to have both sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's excellent. Thank you, Jan. That's awesome. Irene, would you like to share how you got into the business?
Yeah, of course. We were actually customers first, and we had absolutely no intention of doing anything but to enjoy the products. However, our life changed, and Con lost his job in the recession, and we had no family background. We are back up. We had nothing. We just had ourselves here in Australia, and it was a very frightening time. It really was. When you have no income coming in, you have children who need to be educated, and a mortgage. And so our sponsor, she knew about the situation, and she was very supportive. And she had to work more on Con than on me, and he wasn't very keen on Americans at the time. So I gave him all of the Larry Thompson, Mark Hughes tapes to listen to, and eventually Dagmar did a very wise thing, and I think this is something everybody needs to know. She rang Gary and Jennifer, and she asked if Con could go to the training for the HOMs and for the trainings. Even though we weren't in their team, we were a Herbalife family still. And at the beginning, he went to the back of the room with his arms crossed, very an executive who was still coping with after losing his job. And they slowly encouraged him and supported him, and he got his confidence and his self-respect back. And that was something that we will never forget from Gary or from Jennifer, that was something we didn't know we would ever have again. And that's really how we got started. We attended, Connie particularly, he attended the trainings every week. There were 3 a week. We used the office, and it was just a real friendship that developed that has never been broken. And I think that that's also part of the amazing world of Herbalife, that be it recruiting or be it products or be it whatever, look after each other. We are there for each other, and that is something that I'm very proud of. And I know Mark Hughes always wanted that, because his first training was my family. And so that's how we got started. And people ask, because Conrad was so shy, how did you manage to get over your shyness? Well, I always say, when your need is greater than your fear, you'll do anything. And you just look at your children and you'll do it, So that's how we got started. It was the best thing that ever happened. And look at us now here. We are just doing life together, and I love that.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. So again, if someone's listening to this thinking, had no intentions of doing the business, a client, but circumstances changed.
Yeah.
So, and here's Con at the back of the meeting with his arms crossed. I'm pretty sure he was at the front of the meeting on Saturday. Would I be wrong? So, how things can change and you can grow and develop. So that's really amazing. So some of the people in your team that have grown, so you've obviously spread right or international, but I know you got Lindy in your team. So Lindy's got an amazing story. I love hearing your story. So did you want to share it? It's okay if Josh and Ben want to.
Oh yeah, Josh is right in the background. I just wish he was a little bit softer. But I actually just want to say with this that I was looking through, because I had a couple of boxes left packed in the garage, and I was trying to find it today, and it's probably slipped down the back again. But I used to live at Lambie Heights on the North Shore in Sydney. And I had a little cutout of the newspaper ad that it must have been just Jenny and Gary's. And I actually had that sitting with me for a really long time. So in the back of my brain, I knew Herbalife. Oh, that's it. I'm moving to the other end of the table. Sorry.
We can hardly hear him. He's all right.
Oh, I can. It's driving me nuts. It's a monotone sound. It drives me nuts. So it's funny, I found that little newspaper ad, and I found there was a flyer, and it might have been Kim Urick or something, that when I grabbed when I was at Martin Place, we're looking like 1989 or 1990 or something, so I still had that somewhere. But Jill used to live next door to me, so I started as a customer, and I was very reluctant to even start, and then had good results. And then
Just tell everyone how many times she talked to you and invited you, please. We need
every day for a year.
a year. Right.
Yep. And I really wasn't interested, and I did go to the first, because there were trainings in Canberra then. So I went to the first training in Canberra, and then I was hooked by all the stories. And it wasn't just mums and dad. There were people from all different walks of life, and that got me too. It was, chemists to salespeople to fitness junks. There was just a whole lot of people, and that amazed me as well. And everybody all got a meal together. It was a nice big family, and having family that wasn't down here, that was attractive to me as well.
So you have to travel to go to an event, though. How long does it take you to get to an event?
To get there now, depending on traffic, 4.5 hours. It really depends on traffic, really. Yeah. So I usually go up there and stay with Mum, or I'll stay with Jill, and then come back down again. And otherwise, Steve and I have done it in a day, but it's really tiring because it's good to go to the trainings, but then it's very full on as well if you're taking lots of notes and listening to everybody. So a day trip didn't really work so well. I think best to stay overnight and then come back. But I was a bit like Con. I sat at the back of the room with my arms folded first off and thought, I don't know. But then I ended up taking off with it more than other people around me at the time.
So it's interesting, isn't it? That's obviously you've always been interested. You've got an ad from Gary and Jennifer, a flyer from Kim Jurek, and your neighbour ends up talking to you. So it's quite interesting. So obviously you're destined to be in Herbalife, and you're a customer first. So they had to ask you every day for 12 months. So if you think about that, I think you said something about that. Think about the people you've been speaking to. Have you given up on them too early? So is that what you said?
Yeah.
Shelley,
How
I
often
really
it happens?
thought it's so good because, she's talking about, obviously of coming from other countries, and then struggling mortgage and children here, not maybe knowing a lot of people, but how many now migrants are people we got coming to this country who are in exactly the same position, and they very often come from countries where selling is what they do every day. There's in Europe, there's lots of everyday markets. People sell their fruit and veggies or whatever. Their markets, and selling is very big to any family. And so, even if you're, wealthier, you still understand the idea of buying and selling, especially the Asian countries. So this is where you can be looking for your new recruits, for all the new people that are getting settled, a new household, whether it's, Australians that have been around here for centuries, or the new Australians. There's a lot of business out there if people will go and talk to people and get them to see the possibilities of the business.
It's interesting you say that, because I'm literally maybe half a block away from Canberra Uni, which is quite a lot of people come from all around Australia to go to the Catholic Uni, And I drove past today and I thought, doing other things, and I thought, what's wrong with me? All I need to do is, because all the students park around our streets and everywhere else, I thought, I just need to go, and when they all come at the end of the day, just start doing a mass handout of flyers, really.
Yep, just something each, and then we can't do it every day as often as you possibly can. So it's interesting, that persistence. So far, 3 people were clients first, and 1 person came from a recruiting ad. So it's very interesting. We'll see how this all pans out. We've got Rosemary. So Rosemary, tell me how you came into the business.
For myself, my best friend, we'd travelled overseas, and her husband was in the bank with my husband, and she used to talk to me obviously on the phone, and she sent me these stories, and they were printed out, and I put them on the fridge, and she'd ring me and say, have you seen those stories yet? And I'd say, yes, I will get to read them. I never did. And then she was smart. She rang again one other time, and she said, Rosemary, I'm going to this, it's a meeting, but I want you to come. I'll pick you up, and it'll be whatever time it was. And okay, and I went, yep, no, that's okay, I'll come. And so, as I said earlier, I came and I heard these stories go across that room at Coronation Drive, and I was amazed. And so, okay, I signed up straight away. And in those days, you never had shakes, you never made shakes as such, you never had any tea. I just took it that what I heard, obviously the products work. So got on, it was then a quick start program. I got on it mainly for my husband, because my husband's father, he lost him on Christmas morning, never forgotten it, you know, of a massive coronary. And I deep down, being a nurse, having that, you know, medical background, like, I never wanted Kev to go the same way. And trust me, I am so grateful to Herbalife because of that. And believe it or not, his brother actually went the same way some years back now with a coronary. So Herbalife has been an amazing, you know, just amazing. And so consequently, I signed up. We've got tremendous, you know, product results, tremendous energy on that quick start program, because teas weren't in then. And then I used to go to the trainings on a Tuesday night and a Saturday. So I worked 3 days a week at the hospital, but I was always told that I must go to these trainings. So I'd front up and I'd hear, you know, and I used to love going to the one at Ann Street because Jennifer was there. And I just admired Jennifer. She had such a, I don't know, whatever she's told you should do or whatever, yeah, and you'd always aim to get that 2,500 done because you know, whatever. And then I think the big thing was Mark Hughes was coming to Brisbane, and I wanted to go there because, you know, you had to be a supervisor. So consequently, both Loretta and I both did it together, and we ended up going to Mark Hughes' training in Brisbane in the city. And I can still to this day see Mark sitting there, very handsome, and I think I was mesmerised by his watch. He had this most beautiful watch. I think it was diamonds, I reckon. But apart from that, and there was Dr. Katzen at the time, and you know, you wrote down everything, but it was just, I was so grateful, to be honest, that I was encouraged to go there. And I've tried to do as much as I can whenever I can. I always say, and this is true, I am very much a part-time distributor with a full-time attitude. So because of what I choose to do, I do recruit, believe it or not. And my last 3 people, I've actually, one of them was Deb, who is in my weight loss challenge, and then from there I've had another lady who mainly, she was in a weight loss challenge, but I see her at the gym, and she talked about issues with her knees, and she was going to have a op. And so consequently I listened and I went, oh gee, you know, you should try these products and, you know, the joint support. So she did listen, and she's got on board as well. And my last recruit was my own sister, who knew what the Herbalife products were able to do for my mum. So yeah, you know, Mum's gone now, but she remembered, she never forgotten, and she rang, you know, and I told her about, you know, becoming a distributor, getting the discount, because I wanted to be on those products for as long as she can, because I think in 75. So, you know, for me, to be able to extend people's lives and improve their health is probably one of the most important things for me, to be honest, to be able to help, you know, family, whoever. And I am so thrilled because I've got 25 in my weight loss challenge, which is the second one tomorrow night. So there are a lot of young people, all different ages in that challenge. So I've got every opportunity to touch the lives of many people in that. And they've been coming and coming and coming for, you know, I've been running them for 10 or 11 years now. So, you know, I just think, well, if I can help some of the time, I'm very proud of the fact that, yeah, Herbalife has done so much for me, so much for my family. I'd be very, very, you'd be very silly not to share these stories, you know, with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes,
Thank you, Rose. We can tell how passionate you are about it. So, and you know that you've obviously your friend persisted with you. She asked more than once, and you know that's it. So I think you know something we all need to take note of is how many times someone, you know, you saw something or someone asked you. So just don't give up because someone says no once. Especially if you get that feeling about them because you care. And I'm not talking about pressuring them or being pushy, but just letting them know how much you care. And so thank you very much, Rosemary.
Pleasure.
So Coral and Michael were in the top recruiters this year, so very exciting. So we just wanted to, Coral, for you to share how you got started in the business and how you've signed up your last 3 people.
Okay, I'm a little bit different than everyone else. I actually had a back injury, I consultated my spine and was unemployable back in 2013. So I joined because of the business. I Googled a business opportunity and seen Herbalife and remembered I did have tried the shake several years earlier, but the lady didn't follow up on me. So I thought about the baby generation, baby boomers, and jumped on and really believed in it. I was quite passionate, but I didn't continue the business side of things and lost my way because I was put on medication that started to blow my weight off, so I got discouraged and then went off the products. Little I knew if I stuck to the products properly, it would have taken, because I blew up to 30 kilos overweight, and then rejoined and got back onto the program and lost 26 kilos and still on the same medication. So that was a driving force on I wanted to do the business again. So it started that, and my last 3, how I got my, well, I received quite a few in February, but the last 3 was a guy that I did a cold call to in a car yard. And I went in and asked about if they know of anyone that wants to lose weight or a business opportunity. So happened he wanted to lose weight, so he jumped on board and become a product client. The next one was I had a kitchen. We revamped our kitchen. We had it sitting outside and we had a couple come and have a look at the kitchen. And Michael went up to him and said, do you know of anyone who wants to lose weight? Guess what? He wanted to lose weight and come on board and joined for the product as well. The one before that was won by a flyer for a business opportunity, and he come and joined for that reason, which signed up a friend, which signed up another friend. Bit slow there, but it's all happening, and time will tell what's going to come up of it all.
So well done. So advocating, all the methods work. And so, how did you find out about the business?
So the person who was signed was sick and tired of me being fat and miserable. That's the basis of it. So she went looking for an opportunity. I would have never gone looking for the opportunity in a million years. I was depressed, had massive anxiety. I was sitting on a lounge, so there's no way this opportunity was falling into my lap. So, long story short, she went and found the information, got someone across. I sat there and went, okay, we'll do it. And then basically straight away, I would say and this is one thing that I've learned from this point, I was totally prejudged on that day, because I would have bought a lot more stock on the spot, because I saw the opportunity where there was to go from the business on the first day that we did our first order. Because I straight away ordered a senior consultant order and was never told that I could have ordered a success builder order. And if I had have told that, I would have gone as faster. So I saw the business opportunity the minute I placed my first order. I saw there was potential here that could get me off the lounge if the product worked, and where we could go from there. So I make sure nowadays, I don't sort of look at anybody and go, oh, they're not interested, they won't do it. Because probably I had been sitting on a lounge for 2 years. I did not want to go back to the industry that I was in. And in my own head, there was some money in the background. I had an ability to go and buy a business if I chose to. So I always look at people and go, don't prejudge them, because you just never know. That person that you're looking at may not be saying anything. And I know when I go to trainings and everything, I appear to be very quiet in the background, but I observe a lot. And so just never prejudge somebody because of that.
And the way I came into the business was I was in Adelaide studying architectural drafting, and on the third year I couldn't get Austudy, so I started looking in the newspaper. So I remember I called Merv's ad first, and I think I called Andrew Foot's ad straight after that. And of course I sort of recognised that the script was very similar, and then he edified Merv, which was great. And so I booked Peter and I into a opportunity meeting. I thought I was going for a job interview. And so I went along to this office and sat in it, and I actually really had no idea what was happening. And then Merv got the group. He does the circle at the end when you've got all your guests, and he said, who sees an opportunity here? And obviously what he would normally do is anyone that said no, he'd put his hands out to shake them, and he'd yank them out of the seat and get rid of them. So there was nobody negative in the group. It was only the people that were serious. And so I said, oh, we should think about it. But of course, Peter next to me said yes. And I just looked at him like, what did he see? But I'm very thankful, because Peter signed up first, and he signed me up, and obviously he dropped out, which, can't be helped. But he saw the opportunity. So I'm eternally grateful that he saw it. I was also homesick from my family, and I just like being around these crazy positive people. They were all happy. And so I just stuck around, got over my shyness, and it kind of all happened from there. But Merv was very smart, getting me onto the phones and scripts, and was teaching me right from the first day, but I didn't know it. So that's my story. So let's continue on, because I know I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. So basically what to say. So once you've done your advertising, you want to have a set of words and use a proven script, which Jennifer was talking about, having that script there. And there's lots of scripts out there. If you're not sure, then ask your upline for a copy. There's plenty out there, but put it in a way that it sounds like you. And the script just helps you target your key people. It helps screen out people that aren't serious. Have it near the phone and call people back when you're prepared. Don't be out somewhere where there's heaps of noise and you're not prepared. So, and remember, attitude is everything. If you're having a bad day or a bad hour or a bad minute, and don't call that person back until your attitude is 100%. Okay, you don't be thinking, oh, they're not going to join, no one's interested. Get that out of your head and think, this could be my next President's Team member, this could be my next Jennifer or Rosemary or Jan or Irene or anyone. You want to have that attitude of when, either whether you're doing a flyer or you're talking to someone face to face, you want to have that. So there's lots of different ways. Hey, I'm looking for 5 key people, like Irene said. You've got a really good way of talking to people, haven't you, with recruiting, Irene? What would you normally say?
Depending on the situation, if I'm talking to somebody and I feel they're either at the shop or they're serving, anything like that, I never recruit there. I just give them my card, or I get and take their name, and I make a time to see them, either face to face or preferably get them into a little meeting if I can. And if I feel that they're willing, they've got the time, I literally use the script that we've used for years, about and tell my story. I'm not, that is, to me, is the strongest script, is to tell the person what happened to you, your situation before, asking them questions first about being serious. And, because sometimes it's just curiosity rather than seriousness. And then after that, I just say to them, well, are you looking to for supplemental income, or are you looking for a career change? Because that was for Con, a career change. And depending on what they say, I either then will do, if they say, look, a part-time income, the online is now great, you know, which is so good, but you can do it sort of very relaxed. You don't have to know it all yourself. But really, it's the stories that I try to share about. I use Jan because why I use Jan is we lived in the same suburb with one major street between us. And many people feel there's saturation out there in the marketplace. And I show them how Jan was so successful when we got started, and that people are not, it's not territorial, that when you're thinking of health, you're thinking of health business, people want, it's how they relate to you. And I often just say, you know, somebody could ring me up and really not think I was suitable and ring Jan and start tomorrow. So when I'm talking like that and recruiting, I feel it's important to do that if they're serious up front, because they'll go home or they'll talk to their negative neighbor and they'll get the, oh, it's saturation point, and as you and I know, it isn't. It's actually dire. So really, that's how I do it. And I just say, you know, if you're serious, you know, have you owned your own business before? And if they say yes, and how did that go? How did you enjoy it? And are you still doing it? I don't use, depending on the person, I use a set of words that are important to them. But it's always good to just say who we are. I don't make any bones about that. I say that we're Herbalife, that we are, you know, that we are a direct selling company, but we're not looking for salespeople. We're looking for people with heart. And, you know, and I go through a few little questionnaires with questions with them, but the most important thing is the stories. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, the stories, and that they don't think that there's a, you know, I always like to put in, I've had people previously going home and then not getting started because they've had them be, the saturation point kept coming up. So I just do that now straight away.
So thank you, Arnie. That's great. And in this whole group, so it was about half and half. Half for clients, half came in for the business. So both obviously work. And I think the most important thing is making sure that we package our stories so that you know what to say. So that, and if you're not sure how to package your story, your income story, you know, it could be yesterday, what happened yesterday, what happened last week, what happened in the last 30 days, what's happened in the last 90 days. I know on Saturday with the business opportunity meeting, someone did what they'd earned in 12 months around their full-time jobs. I thought that was great. That was a very powerful story. There was a whole bunch of them. I know I did the last 7 days in retail, which is just under $500 profit. So whatever you feel is that most powerful way to share your income story. And then now you've got a whole bunch with all of us on this call that you can use as well, all the different backgrounds that are going to relate. So try and practice the script with your mentor or family and friends. It's a great way to get confident. And yeah, family and friends can sometimes be the most difficult. So it's good they can throw a few curveballs to you and have a bit of fun with it. Plus, at the same time, you're letting them know about it. So it's kind of like, you know, win-win. Develop the right mindset. So knowing that you want to duplicate and attracting those right people to you. Who do you want? Like Coral was just saying, she's thinking about recruiting her weaknesses. What a great project to work on. Have a Herbie beverage or lift off or something like that beforehand to get your energy levels up, which is what we did before the call tonight. Listening to Jim Rohn and Mark Hughes, rereading your goals or having them around so that you can always see them at all times and be reminded of them. And you want to learn how to lift that vibrational level. I know Merv and Gary always like stand up when you're talking, and you know, practice looking in the mirror, tape yourself, all those sort of things, because people only pick up on so much of your excitement and enthusiasm. There's only a certain percentage that comes through. So sometimes you just got to lift it up a little bit. And sometimes it feels like you're being silly, but you want to get that across on how passionate you feel. Like we could all pick up on Rosemary's passion tonight when she was talking. So, you know, that comes through. So I'm just going to the next one. So yes, using FORM, which was what Irina was talking about, asking about them. So FORM stands for family, occupation, recreation. So it might be, hey, how long have you lived here for? Do you have any kids? Are you married? Occupation, what do you do for a living, or do you study? Recreation, what do you do for hobbies? Do you play sport? And then that message of what are they dissatisfied with and how you can find that Herbalife solution for them. Sharing lots of results and stories that relate to them. Part-time stories, full-time stories, that sort of thing. So the more stories you hear, this is why it's good to go to the events, the more you can share with other people. Asking for a decision. Hey, would you like to get started at a level of 10, 1 to 10? What level of are you serious or interest level? You know, trying to find ways of asking, would you like to start? You have to get them to make a decision. Invite them to a Herbalife opportunity meeting. And again, if you don't have one in your area, start one. Do it over the phone, face-to-face, coffee shop, at their house, on a Zoom call, so that you can share more stories that they can relate to. And keep inviting until you get a no. And then when you get a no, maybe just invite a bit more. Obviously, from hearing on the call tonight how many people kept getting asked and asked, and they said no, 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 but eventually they said yes. So I really think about that persistence. So then you want to follow up, get the person's details, like Irene was saying, give them a card. I know we went to one of my beauty therapist friends today, and she's let us put some business cards and invitations for the event on Saturday there, plus I gave her a protein bar to try. And remember, no doesn't mean no forever. Don't take it personally. So like Irene and Con, their situations change. Okay, so these things happen. Plug them into the community and support system, drip feed information and stories. Like Rosemary had the stories on her fridge. She might not have read them, but eventually she probably would have, or maybe more. I know Gary did that, Jennifer, with Rob Walsh. He kept sending stuff to him, right? And he kept putting it in the bin, but eventually he just kept sending it, right? So persisting is really, really important. And ultimately, we're looking for dissatisfied people, and they could be dissatisfied with any area of their life. It might not be money, it might be time, family, challenge, recognition, whatever it is. You need to show them that we have a solution for them. So you really want to become that problem solver. So once someone becomes a member, then you want to go through the setup steps with them. So have your set of steps that you go through. And I know Mary was great on Saturday going through some things like that. Getting them a great product result is their biggest asset. And they don't even need to lose weight to have a product result. It could be energy, feeling better, more regular, improved skin, not getting sick all the time, like this, stress. There's so many other things. And then plug them into the coach group and these trainings and events. So if they can't be on here live, make sure you're sending out the recordings as well, and just find out what people want and help them achieve it. And we've all heard that quote, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. So I think I know we're going a little bit over. So thank you everyone for sharing tonight. I think this is a really valuable call anyway. So keeping good records and treating your business like a business. I know we've all talked about this and how important it is. Be organised, use a diary or planner, keep all your receipts, set up a separate bank account for your business, have your retail order forms, which I have not always been good at, have I?
We won't go there.
So anyway, I'm much better now and keeping organised, and treat your business like a business. And I know, Jen, what's your tip for for your business records? I know you've shared some before what you do. I think you might have muted yourself. There you are.
Yeah, okay. Basically, being organised, I do have a day book on my desk and write everything down that I need to do, but then transfer it into a diary. But also with your receipts, from day one, I've always kept a brown paper bag with the date and the year on the front, and each month all the receipts go into each paper bag, and I still do that to this day. So everything's organised. So when Debbie comes across to do my GST, I get out those 3 months that she needs and make sure it's in a certain order for her. But everything's in one spot. I think that's important, to keep records in one area, particularly your receipts and things like that. Get receipts for absolutely everything.
Yes, and I know because they do fade, you like to photocopy them so they don't fade, because that's one thing. Sometimes you get an old receipt and it's blank. So often I'll write on the top what it is for, and then we
we really will photocopy every receipt, staple staple the receipt to a piece of paper, and yeah, so nowhere down the track, because we now live in a world where everything's like this digitalized sort of paper, that everything, if you leave it out on a desk somewhere, within about a week, you look at the piece of paper and go, what was that for? Yeah, so we pretty well do that straight away as much as we possibly can.
I love my secretary.
Yeah, thanks.
Label it updated.
Yes, absolutely. So use your monthly gauge sheets. You've seen a lot of them. They're on Challenge Yourself Daily. Using BizWorks to keep track of your volume. It's such a great one to look at what's happening so you can help track your team's progress. Let people know all the options in the marketing plan, and don't prejudge them. So give them the option to decide for themselves. And once your business gets up and running, look for a good bookkeeper or accountant so that you can they can do what they're good at, and so you've got more time to go out and build your business. So I think that's always a good one. And then the final tips: treat your team members like a client as well, so that they're learning that follow-up. Help them get the best result possible, and teach them how to do good follow-up through example. Use all the events to help upgrade people, because they're there to help you, that makes your job easier. Know what people want and then give them the support they need accordingly. So for example, are they a business builder, a volume producer, or client? So don't treat a client like a business builder, because they may feel pressured or you're giving them too much. So look at where people are and give them that according support and information. But of course, sometimes a client can become a business builder, and a business builder might decide then to be a client for a while for different circumstances. So offer the opportunity to everyone. Again, don't prejudge it. Just offer them to come and take a look. That's all you need to do. So I'm not sure what's next. So the art of the promotion, and obviously with lots of different events, and that can be a corporate event, it could be your local events, your STSs and things like that. This is what we were always taught, the art of promotion. The pre-promotions, what's in it for me? So why would they want to go? So really promote that. When the event's actually happening, that's the sizzle. So taking some photos from the day and sharing them, or doing a little video. So you're really painting that picture of what happened at that event. And then the post-promotion is creating that fear of loss, like, oh, you should have been here, how amazing it was. So there's those three parts to your event. And that can be something from a very small gathering, like the skin party I've got on Thursday, right through to an extravaganza. And basically your events and your promotions create growth in your business, but you need to let people know that they exist, basically. So coming up, these are the promotions, and I'll let anyone add at the end if you wish to. So we've got obviously our Let's Go May free healthy aging workshop this Saturday. So we've got Irene and Con coming to do an amazing healthy aging through nutrition session. They always do such a great job. Jennifer's going to be doing a special member training, so thank you. And Jan's going to be there as well with her amazing story and experience in the business. So who do you know in Gympie, or if you just want to come for a drive, I know Coral will be there too. I'm a bit excited about all the stories. I think we're up to about 17 people. So let's fill that room. So that's this Saturday. Mother's Day, keep an eye on that, because that's coming up on the 12th of May. Again, a great time to go back to your clients and let them know about the aloe range and the skin. Do some sample sessions and things like that. They're going to go and buy gifts anyway. Why not buy something that's going to make them look amazing? And it's for guys. It's not Mother's Day for guys.
No.
But anyway, that's for further on. So yes, any of the Mother's Day gift ideas. Plus, there's a catalogue as well. We've got Hong Kong extravaganza coming up in June, so there's still time to qualify for that, although the tickets were just sold out. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Sorry, my dogs are all starting to growl all at once here, so I was just trying to stop them. Sorry, I missed what you said. I'm trying to
email tonight that they're sold out.
So the extravaganza is sold out, so that's pretty amazing.
It has been sold. The other day there were 500, but I knew they were going to go very fast, because they told all of Asia, they told a lot of it. So that's it. And it's gone if you've missed out. And they're not having any breakout sessions anymore, because they're finding that often there's like a 3-second delay in the the audio going to them. They don't pick up on that excitement as much when they've got some speakers go in there, and they figured that probably be better if the people who don't get to go maybe have an event at home where they're thinking that they could possibly record those sessions instantaneous. and have them sent to different countries. So people might want to get together with a party or something and have a specific event, come through. So they're thinking about that. And that would be good, because then people maybe can feel they're a part of the event without actually spending the money to go, if they were going to have to go to a breakout room and not have the same experience. So we're just waiting to see if they're going to do those events that that people can maybe get a group together, whether it's only Sydney or wherever, that they can hear the trainings as well.
Okay, that's a great idea. So what's sold out? So it's going to be an amazing event. So that's in June. Then we've got the vacation in Vietnam. So I think that finishes in July, the qualifications for that. So you basically have from last August to July, and then there'll be a new one. So for anyone that's close to going for this, I'd just do everything you possibly can and just go for it, because it's got a beautiful location, the hotel's gorgeous, and you get totally spoiled, and taking your family too. This is something that I want to do, is take the girls to the next one, and let them experience that again, of why we're working hard and why we do what we do, and enrolling them into that vision, I guess. So, which is great. So congratulations to people that have qualified for this and are in qualification. Just go for it. You've still got May, June, July. So you've got 3 more months. A lot can happen in 3 months. We know this. The World Team Retreat in September in Manly, Sydney. So a beautiful location. So we've got Mark and Jill Addy from the US, who basically brought the whole healthy active lifestyle concept to the world, and they're going to be coming and speaking. So amazing speakers and lots of recognition. There's also the Tab Team Masterclass on the Friday, then with 2 full days training and lots of other lifestyle experiences as well. So that's going to be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to having the girls come with us. So you've been on a plane with the girls yet, have you?
No.
Don't scare him off.
So it's going to be lots of fun. Plus, Mum gets to come to. I'm a little bit excited about having her come to a Herbalife event, and even though she won't be in the training, she'll still kind of experience a lot of views will be around and that. So come say hi to Mum, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that's basically it. So was there anything else that I've missed just before we finish off?
No, covered it beautifully.
Yeah, nothing that you've missed, but I do want to add 2 things. For Rosemary, you mentioned Mark's watch. It was a Piaget watch that had diamonds, a couple of rows all around it, and everybody loved that watch. And Mark at one stage was going to have a situation, if you did X amount of volume, you were going to get a Piaget watch, the same as Mark's. So that didn't eventuate, considering what happened. And the other thing, guys, is who wants to sing happy birthday to Jan for yesterday?
Happy birthday.
Happy
Birthday.
I can't sing, I've got no voice tonight.
birthday, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Right. Happy birthday, Jan.
Thank you. It's not going backwards now.
Yes. We do.
That's right.
78 today.
Wow.
Today.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Senior moment already.
Happy birthday for yesterday, Jan. And I'm just finishing off with the Jim Rohn quote: success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Well, I think with the emphasis on every day. So it's an apple a day, not 7 on Sundays. So I'm just going to stop sharing so we can see everybody. So thank you, Mastermind Group, for being on the call. We really appreciate it.
Ross, thank you.
Looking forward to seeing
Saturday.
Yes,
Thank you.
we're looking forward to seeing a lot of you on Saturday. It's going to be pretty amazing. It's going to be jam-packed. I've got a beautiful recipe. I did share it on the event, a cashew pumpkin soup with PPP. Jennifer's going to love it because she's a savoury girl.
Yeah, I'm a savoury girl. I rather it than the sweets.
Yeah.
I'm a savoury girl.
Right, you're going to love this recipe. Winter warmers, recipes to take with you. So it's going to be great. So remember, end of month is tomorrow midnight. Just go for it. Well, I guess we're probably really looking at it 11:30 p.m. because it's South Australian time. So make sure you're aware of those time differences and just go for it. Just finish off strong. You're all doing great. And thank you for being part of the Mastermind Group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, good to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.